Okay, so today is April 15, 2017. This is an interview for the Voces Oral History Project. We are in Corpus Christi to interview Mr. Alfonso Davila. Here with me is RJ Molina. My name is Vinicio Cinta, and Mr. Davila, if there are any questions you don't want to answer, let us know and we'll move on. We'll skip that. If you want to take a break during the interview, let us know and we'll stop the camera.
Okay.
All right?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Davila, you come from a very historic town. You were born in Gonzales, Texas.
Right.
Could you give me the name of your parents?
Name of what?
The name of your parents.
I didn't understand that.
Your father was Rufino Davila
Right.
and Paula Davila.
Right.
How many kids did they have?
Three sisters and myself. Okay.
Can you name them, please?
Huh?
Their names?
Oh, Delfina, Susie, y Maria.
What year did you move to Corpus Christi?
1938.
And you went to school where, sir? Can you tell me a little about your school days here in Corpus Christi, please?
The what? Tell me about what?
Your schools here in Corpus Christi. You can keep talking about your schools, attending schools here in Corpus Christi. Did you go to Carroll High, King High?
Oh, I went to Winseal in Corpus here. But only, see, on account that my father died, passed away, you know. So what happened was I had to quit school, you know, so I can take care of my mother and the three sisters that I had.
And where did you work?
Work? Oh, I was lucky. I started working at a grocery store, you know. And after that, well, I went into service, you know. So,
Did you, where were you when Pearl Harbor, when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, where did you hear the news?
well, see, I don't know when does it happen?
December 7th, 1941.
40?
1941.
Oh,
December
yes.
7th. Did you hear it on the radio? Or
Oh, yes, sure did.
where were you?
I was in the 41, I think I was in the
In the
service.
store?
No, I wasn't. I went into service. I stayed there. Let's see. I started out after the training, you know. After I had my training.
Was that in Georgia? Fort Benning, Georgia? Where did you train?
What do you mean?
Where did you go to boot camp?
What?
Where did you go to boot camp?
Oh, Camp Fire. That's where I went. And then we went home. They gave us on furlough. And then we stayed for a little while in the army there. And then they gave us a furlough. And after that, well, they took us to Boston, Massachusetts, 4th of July.
What division and company were you under on this particular time? The 4th Army?
4th Army in Division 5th, let's see. That's infantry, 4th Infantry Division. I think that's where I was.
What company? Or squadron? You were in a squadron, 61st?
Uh-huh,
53rd Troop Carrier, Squadron 61st?
uh-huh. Well, that's in the Air Force. Well, after I got out of the hospital in England,
Mhm.
and what happened was that the reason that I was wounded was on account that well, I was on the front line, yeah. But then after that, they sent me to the hospital, you know, and I spent 4 months in the hospital. And after that, Hospitals were in the bed for.
What hospital were you in England? London?
London, Liverpool, yes.
When before that, did you go by ship from New York City to England? You know the name of the ship
No.
when you sailed? All right, you arrived in England and you were training. On, what type of training did you receive in England?
What do you mean as far as what?
Guns, artillery, machine guns.
No, just a rifle one. Yeah.
Do you
And the
remember
infantry. Yeah.
just a rifle?
Yeah.
What were your buddies' names? Can you list some names of your buddies and your commanding officer, your sergeant?
I don't remember. I forgot them all
Okay.
completely.
Did you write letters back home?
Huh?
Did
Oh,
you
yes. Yes, I did.
Can you tell me something about that?
Well, I mean, the thing about it was I left my family behind me, you know, and I was worrying about how they was getting along, but they did it. My two sisters and my mother.
You would send your paycheck home.
Yeah, because my father he passed away in 42, see. But anyway, the reason I ended out in the Air Force was because when they were going to send me back to the front lines, this knee and ankle it was swelled up, you know. So I wasn't healthy enough to go to the front lines again. So that's the reason they put me in the Air Force. And that's just what I got discharged of, Air Force.
Can you tell me how you received your wound? You were in the Black Forest, you said, Hergen Forest?
Yes, how? Well, I was on the front lines,
Yes,
right
sir.
there.
Was there a mortar shell type of shrapnel? Or I
this
noticed you
is-
have it on your...
88 artillery. But let me tell you, I got there and it's the first time I ever seen so many dead soldiers, you know. But I did. And I got wounded probably around, let's see, I think around 4 or 5 o'clock daytime. And then after that, well, somebody dragged me into a big foxhole, you know. And so I stayed there till about midnight, close to midnight, before they ever got me out. And when they got me out, it was just me that they got out. They picked me out to take me to the back, you know, to the back line. So that's what they did. They took me out. I was wounded and took me out back to the back on a jeep, you know, at around midnight, I guess, something like that. And well, that's what happened. I mean, they were sending me back. Well, we're putting me back on the front lines, but that's what saved me from going to the front lines: the knee and the ankle. And I ended out in the Air Force. I stayed at the Air Force for, I say, well, no, in French. And then they sent it to, what's the name of that island? You know?
Trinidad?
Trinidad, yes. That's where they sent us. It's an island in front of Venezuela, you know. So, therefore, I was very lucky on that.
Can you tell me where did you get that shrapnel metal from the front lines or in the hospital? When did you get that piece of metal, shrapnel, that you were wounded?
What,
Did you get it at the hospital or in the front lines? Did they take it out of your leg?
oh, yeah, they did. You know, it's a good thing they saved it, see. That's the reason I got it there. And then when they got discharged from the hospital that I went to the Air Force, that's when they, you know, I got that piece of shrapnel, see. And they so happened that they saved it. And that's the reason they gave it to me when I got out of the service.
Can you tell me the name of your buddies in this Trinidad picture?
Oh yeah, this is all in Trinidad. All of this, you know, you see where I'm at? Right here. In Trinidad. They're all Puerto Ricans and Cubans, you know. And I'll tell you, when I got off the plane, they all got around me, you know. Like I was something big, big. You know why? On account, I had my combat infantry badge here, see. And that means that you being on the front lines, you know. That blue one, that badge, I got a rifle.
You have some ribbons there. You have 3 battle clusters.
Yeah, little ones.
Right.
Yeah, I went to 3 battles, store, yes.
Major battles.
But I had it easy because by the time we all get there, just a few wounded, few persons that were wounded, and we pick up a few prisoners and take them back. In fact, they sent me with 2 prisoners back to the back quarters, you know. And there was a young guy, just a kid, about 15, 16, I guess, and an old man, and they were Polish people, you know. So what I was threatening is coming back, you know. But not just because you wounded it, you know, shooting is going to stop. They never, they don't do that. So that's what I did. I mean, pretty lucky on that. You see what I was? This one here.
Yes, sir.
Second again.
Okay, we'll take a picture. Did you go to Paris?
Huh?
Did you go to Paris to go to the front?
Oh yeah,
Paris, France?
that was doing well. I was at the front. It's an infantry, yes.
Right. Can you tell me about Paris? Of course, you know,
Well,
you were on leave.
we just stayed there for a little while. Dig home foxholes and stay there.
But when you went to Paris, did you go up the Eiffel Tower?
No, I never did. You know what? I guess too far off the limits or something. But we could see it way pretty close.
So you marched
Oh yeah,
through Paris.
yeah, pretty close. So no, I never did a chance. But once I went to there, well, after that we went to Belgium, you know. And after that, well, was Rhine River. I went across that and got back on that. And Rhine River and Black Forest where I was wounded.
You crossed the Siegfried line, the one with cement. They call them dragon teeth. They look like dragon teeth. The cement, the Siegfried line for the Germans.
I didn't understand.
Okay, there's a front, the German front. It's called the Siegfried line. They had cement, like they to make it for you to prevent from crossing. Did you see that?
No, I don't.
Okay. One thing about the service, did they pin the Purple Heart on you, the commanding officer? And the other ribbons?
They did. Well, no. The Purple Heart, yes. They gave it to me. Now this is, I got on my discharge, all that information came out from my discharge, you know, Army discharge. You know, it's got a lot of information on it. See?
Yes, sir, we have.
Yeah, and then a person that specialized on this, you know, was the one that fixed it for me like that.
Did you have to go to the Veterans Administration to get treated after the war?
No. I mean, to have that done?
No, to continue, you know, medication for your leg.
Maybe.
After you got out of the hospital, you had medication to take on your leg?
Oh yeah, I didn't hardly need no more medication.
Oh, good.
After I got wounded, and we landed in the Air Force. It was okay. It was fine. So I made out.
So, Mr. Davila,
Yeah.
going back to your childhood, I wanted to ask, how was it growing up in Gonzales? How do you remember Gonzales?
Oh, I remember that it was a place where my grandfather, my grandfather owns. He was said pretty, he had one place that's called a big ranch, the other one little one. So therefore, they were on their own. Of course, they were making payments and whatnot. But still, they call it the Rancho Grande, one of them, and the other one. In other words, they always had somebody to help them out or do their job, and they just order to do this and that at all times. And he did have two brothers, Tilano y Bone, Davila, they were Davilas. So, therefore, and we did live at a little ranch. So they figured out that there was the right thing to do. So they done it. And we stayed there till about, after a while, we moved from there because the land was tired, we're out of producing, and that was the reason that they had. They said the land is not producing right and whatnot, is we're out. So they left. I remember that they left the Gonzales, Texas, and the reason I always hear that they say that the land was gone, no, not producing at all. And I remember good and well that my uncle, I had two uncles, a brother of my father, And I remember good and well that one of the uncles had a Buick, what was it, 38, no, was it 28 or 29. And my father had a Dash. I remember good, it was a 30, So what happened, they got together and they picked on wagons on each other's. They loaded up with the most important things they needed to do some farming, and we left the place, But the reason, and then they also claimed that my grandfather owed money on it, on the place and whatnot. So they wanted to leave that place. You'd be surprised. I mean, at that time, everything grows good. Gonzales, one of my aunts, she had two rows of peaches and los embetaban los peaches, They, anyway, they didn't care for the place no more. Can you imagine that? I wish they would have kept it. So there we went out, and I was back in 30s. I was in the 30s. And I did used to pick cotton. I can run, what's the name of this Portland in here, around here?
Robstown.
Huh?
Robstown.
Oh, where?
In Robstown.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, no, I don't think, yeah. No, not in Austin. And just in Portland and Rosenberg, those two, that's where after school, we know all that. Listen, get ready for the next year to go to school, So, anyway, let me see what else I can say. I don't know what else.
Mr. Davila, did your siblings also pick cotton, or was it only you?
Did I what?
Did your siblings also go in the field to pick cotton? Or was it only you?
Oh yeah, well that was a reason that we went. In fact, I was around 14 or 15 that I went pick cotton around there, Rustenburg or Richmond, you know. Also, getting ready for the next year to go to school, you know. So, I tell you.
Did the whole family go there?
Oh, yeah, well, my mother had brothers there in Richmond and Richmond and Rustenburg. So they planted the place there. Yeah. They raised cotton too. Al cuarto, a halves, I don't know. At that time there were a lot of farmers that picked cotton, you know. Nothing but that, you know. Yeah.
And how was it going to school? So you were going to school in Gonzales?
No.
In,
No,
in
I
Isidro?
was I was about two. I'm knowing. I was about 24, 1930. I say I was about 6 or 7 years. I did went to school. So therefore, I did went, you know, but to think about it was in one room, you know, they was teaching everybody, you know, and all that. But anyway, where I did learn something at least a little bit better over in Gwynns Hill, because we came to Corpus. My mother was after my dad. This is, you're going to raise your son in the farm here. This is when we go to Corpus, you know. And my father had a cousin here, you know, by the name of Cortez. So therefore, we came here. Now, if you're going to have come, I say about before I start this feeding tube, you know. Can you imagine 1 year with it already? I would do better.
So, Mr. Davila,
Yes.
we were talking about the schools. Right before we started recording again, you mentioned
Yeah.
something about having to hide. You didn't want people to see you eating tacos at school.
Right.
Why was that?
Why?
Why?
Well, because how do you call it?
Embarrassment.
Huh?
Vergüenza.
See, but there's another name on that.
Racism.
Huh?
Racism.
No, it's a name that really fits, you know. Porque discrimination. Eso es lo que yo, you know, to start with, that's what it was. But still, we went to school, you know. And, well, to us, it was better when we moved into Corpus, you know. But earlier than that, when we was on the farm, I had to work in the farm too. We left the farm about 1938. So when we got here to Corpus, we had to go to school. But my father didn't last very long. Once we got here in 1938, he died in 1944, yeah. That's when he died, passed away, heart attack, you know. And he didn't know any other job, but no education, you know. Even though they used to have a good sized place in there, because they left it there, you know. So after that, well, it was better. once we got to Corpus here, it was little by little, we're getting better, you know. And what did help me so much was I work at a grocery store, you know, taking groceries to the course and what at H-E-B and here and there, you know. And so therefore, then that in 1940 what? And then when I went into the service, when I got back, well, I learned I had to work, I know. I did work, and I did work as far as 4 years as a meat cutter, you know. Meat cutter, butcher, you're working in the market that's based on their weight on the customers. That helped me a lot, because after that, after I put around 4 years, when I came, it was after I got my discharge, you know. So therefore, I even, and then it was in 1951 when I started working for the hospital. They had base here, but the trade as a meat cutter wasn't qualified, you know. But they did qualify it after they did after a few years, you know. So once they qualified, well, they give us a better, I mean, they pay us better, you know. And I was real lucky on that. So I was a meat cutter, and we was the start in 1951. That's when the Korean War was, 1951. So therefore, by then, I already had, see, anything, any trade over 4 years will be a skilled trade, you know. And then, by then, I already had over 4 years experience, you know. So I really made out on that. And I stayed there till I retired.
Can I ask something? Going back to your years serving.
What?
Going back to where you were serving with the military, where there was a nickname or the term Mexico Kid. Was that
A nickname.
So, can you explain that? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, well, you know, that's the times you're always sitting down and whatnot, so I don't know what gave me the idea. And right on the butt of the rifle, you know, I put in there, Mexico Kid. And after that, well, they call it, you know, this kids. I mean, the soldiers around me, you know. So that's the way it happened. I wish I would have kept that rifle. But anyway, I got hit by shrapnel, you know, so that was pretty bad enough.
Another thing you mentioned before the interview was you had one of your birthdays. You were in France.
Have what?
You were in France when during your birthday.
Uh-huh.
You mentioned that.
Well, yeah, well, that's my birthday. In other words, I was on the front lines in my birthday, which I turned 20. Yeah.
So,
I was young, you know, 20 years old. I tell you, it's pretty young. That was the 16th September. So, 16th of September. And, well, they just called me that, of course. You don't get around and whatnot. And after that, well, it so happens, I was lucky they got me out of there when after I got wounded, you know. I don't know what else I can say.
I also wanted to ask. There's an anecdote about you walking back prisoners to the.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, we had the sergeant of platoon, I guess, of some platoon, I guess. I forgot a lot of military things. And she said, let the Mexico kid take him back to the to the rear, to the headquarters, back, you know. They take care of him, you know. But anyway, while going back, we had to hit the ground twice because, you know, not because you got wounded, shooting was going to stop you. Ain't nobody, you know. You don't worth much over there in the front lines. So therefore, we hit the ground, me and the prisoners, and one of the prisoners says, they thought maybe I was going to shoot him or something, you know. So I took a crucifix, you know. I said, I got one too, so I took him one to show him, you know. But one was a real young one, around 14 years old, 13 maybe, I don't know. And the other one was an old one. That's the kind of Polish people the German was taking to use them as on the front lines. See?
So this was in Germany, and this was in Germany.
What?
This happened in Germany.
Oh yes, see. No, this happened. See, what happened? Oh, in France.
It was in France.
In France. See, I got to Germany later on. See.
So that was before going into Germany.
Yeah. I wanted. See, see, this happens in the Black Forest when I got wounded, you know. And I'm so glad. I mean, I was lucky that this happens around 4 o'clock, and it was a hill that that we were supposed that all the soldiers had to take it, but they were ready waiting for it, and that's when they sent us there, and that's when I got wounded. Mm-hmm.
So you were in Liverpool for 4 months, right?
Where?
You were in Liverpool.
What's that?
In the hospital.
Oh yes, the hospital for months, and taking care of me, you know. And see they were, and 4 months on the front lines, and another 4 months I don't know where I had them. Trinidad, I guess.
What was your duty with the Air Force while you were in Trinidad? What was your job there?
My job just a plain rifleman. In other words, I remember when the sergeant told me, we was in the front line, he says, we're gonna get out the rest, and you just stay here and give us protection. Can you imagine that? I said, well, who I'm gonna shoot? You see over there, there's some dirt over there. There's some Germans there, you know. And I stayed there before that, but I didn't want to lose contact with my group, you know. I wanted to get her, so I loaded up the rifle and shoot them all and left, you know. And that's the thing I did. But we had it easy because the enemy was on the run all the time. And then, you know, you have to catch him. But I was a scout too, a scout boy. When you try to advance, you advance on the land, you know. You are advancing. Because you were in bed, stay walking, and it vanished. You got that advantage that they only, they weren't around. It's a good advantage for us because we was follow them. And if we ever stay there, we'll put up a fight with them.
Going back to when you were in Trinidad.
To what?
When you were in Trinidad when the war ended?
Huh?
Were you in Trinidad when the war ended?
Yes, World War II, yes. Yes.
Do you remember when getting the news that the war was over?
Well, in fact, yeah, of course, yes. And I remember that. In fact, I got it, they had a celebration on account of that. And I got in with all the rest of the civilians there. And went in like a parade, on the streets, In fact, when I first gone in there, they tell me, no, you don't want it. I said, sir, I don't know how I convinced them and that I wanted to be there with them, and I was. Mm-hmm. In other words, I guess they want me around. But, well, my goodness, I was a soldier, He says, I don't know what was the reason, but they didn't want me there, but I still went in there. Oh, and I saw him there. I think I took the badge and saw him. But I don't know what I did, so they could admit it, and they did admit it. But it was really easy then. What's the name of the island? Trinidad.
Trinidad.
Yeah, it's an island in front of Venezuela.
Yeah,
that's where I was,
America.
yeah. Mm-hmm. But it was pretty dangerous, even there. Of course, the soldiers, at that time, they don't like me, I tell you, they even catch a few ones and something. I don't know, there's sort of big mixed up there. Okay, what else?
You indicated that there was an occasion that the United States Army could not take the hill.
Was it?
They could not take the hill. Was there a lot of artillery in the front that your unit could not take the hill? The Germans?
Oh yeah, that's when they wounded. Yeah, another group of us was pretty. In other words, they took it. They were waiting for them. So that's the reason they sent us there, And when they did, that's when there were a lot of dead ones. And that's when I got wounded. See? And I stayed there. We started out at noon there, and we got there daylight. But I got wounded, so therefore they couldn't take me to the back until it was dark at night. And that's when they done it, So that's what happened there when I got wounded. I don't know why they took any more, but anyway.
How many prisoners did you walk back to headquarters?
Hey, what?
How many prisoners did you walk back to headquarters? Was it you and a few others?
Yeah. How many what?
How many prisoners did you walk back to your headquarters?
Two.
It was two.
There were two, yes. One young one and one old one. They were Polish. That's what the Germans used to put on the front, So therefore.
So okay, and then you were in Trinidad, Venezuela.
Huh?
Trinidad, Venezuela.
Yes.
And the war ended, and from there did they take you back to San Antonio or Houston? How did you get back to the States?
Oh, got back. Well, from there, from Trinidad. They were the only people, I mean, the one that gave orders was the only one that knew we was heading for the States, you know. So what happened? From Trinidad, they fly us to Florida, Massachusetts, I guess, somewhere in Florida. And from there on to San Antonio. And from San Antonio, that's where we got our discharge.
That was in November 20th, 45.
November 20, that's when I got my discharge, yes, sir.
Did you get on a train to come back to Corpus?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I had right that somebody were coming to Corpus, but I said, no, I didn't trust him, you know what I mean. So I took the bus, and I came in the bus to Corpus. I didn't, driving in a car with somebody else, you know, no, I don't trust him.
Tell me when you arrived to Corpus, that feeling of seeing,
What?
when you came back to Corpus, that feeling that you felt seeing your mother and your sisters.
How did I felt?
Yes, I mean, you were excited. Were they excited?
Oh, actually, yes, of course. They were expecting me. They knew that I was coming back. So therefore, they gave thanks to God, you know, that I got back and whatnot.
Did they have a little reception, a little celebration? You went to Mass?
Well, I tell you that they start telling the rest of my families that I arrived and got back, you know, and asking when they're coming to see me and whatnot. So I had uncles too, you know, they came to see me.
Do you have any relatives that also went to the war?
Who? But no.
No
Let me
relatives?
see. I had one that went to the Navy.
His name?
Now, Pedro, that's only knew he was. But he was from Houston, from Rosenberg. That, and I don't know who else. Oh, I have a nephew, but he didn't went to the war. I mean, he wasn't, he's in the service, but after the war was over, he did.
How did you meet Mrs. Davila?
I had to meet him.
How did you meet your wife?
Oh, I think I had a sister that knew a cousin of her, you know, and by that I met her because one time I don't know how it happens that I was introduced to her on a dance, on the music, somebody got mad or so. But she was 15 then, you know. But 4 years after that, when I met her, and of course I had to wait 2 years to marry her, you know. And she was 21. When we got married, she was 21 and I was 31.
You got married in Corpus?
Oh, yes. So therefore, been a long time. That happens in 1956, I guess. When we got married in 1956.
And how many kids? Could you name me the kids that you have?
Huh?
The kids? How many kids did you have together?
4.
Can you name them, please?
I had 4. I got 3 girls, and him. So that's just a good-sized family.
Yes, sir. What are their names?
Huh?
Their names.
Oh, yeah, my Olga, the one is here. You see this? Well, she was Olga, Alfonso, that's my son, Miguel, Mike, is a son, Leticia is another girl. Three girls and one boy. Two.
Any of your grandkids were served it for our country? Did they go into the service? Any of your grandkids?
No, not that I know.
Okay.
Except, let's see, cousins.
Cousins?
I had one cousin that were in the service named Pete or Peter, I don't know how. Pedro. And I have a nephew that he was in the Navy. I went, no, he wasn't in the Navy. Didn't think he was.
Did you ever go back to Europe on a vacation, or did you ever go back to Europe to see where you're at, or Trinidad?
Who, me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, no.
No.
To start with, I knew
How many years were you
all together.
working? You said you worked as a processing meat
And work where?
at a meat market.
Oh, yeah, well, I did work over 4 years. That's the reason they gave me a job over at the place.
Right. You know the companies?
Well, no, this is,
Yours?
in other words, I was working when I started working at the hospital, naval base here in in '51. That was during Korea War. In other words, we were feeding soldiers or wounded that they were wounded in Korean War. We had to feed about 600 or over, feed them in corpus. And but then after that, there wasn't. I started with $12 an hour, but there it was because the trade wasn't qualified as a skilled trade. But then I hear that they were going to be cut off, So I applied for it at the commissary store, and I worked there too, Commissary store is just a store just like outside, but then it's military, So therefore, the trade was qualified as a skilled trade. And that's the reason they hired me, because when they hired me, there were, I don't know how many they were, but I knew. One didn't like the hours, one didn't like the pay, and the other one didn't show up, and I was the only one that went, and I was the only one that had the less experience, The rest of them had 10, 12 years experience, and I had the small amount of experience in meat cutter.
What's your best steak? What's your best cut of steak? Would you recommend to us? The best cut of meat, steak. Is it ribeye or New York strip?
Oh, I tell you, best one was tenderloin.
Tenderloin.
Yeah, that comes off your strip of your
Kind of like fajitas, from where fajitas come from.
fajas.
Fajitas. But you get the tenderloin first.
Tenderloin. Okay. Yeah, or if they come up with that, yeah, they can do it off of that, yes. Well, naturally, T-bone and chops and that. T-bones, well, it had to be according to the grade of beef that goes over that, you know. You have utilities and good, U.S. good, U.S. choice. If they come off choice, that's the best one you can get, you know.
Well, Mr. Davila, on behalf of the UT Voces project, Dr. Maggie Rivas Rodriguez, Mr. Vencio Cinto, and myself, RJ Molina, want to thank you for welcoming us to your home and your family for your assistance. Anything do you want to say to our American youth today? Anything do you want to say to our American youth today about our country?
News?
Yes. What would you tell a young kid today about our country?
Oh, I don't.
To be good, to serve our country, defend our country?
Well, by all means, yes. If they have to, yes. It's good to be in the service, and especially at peacetime. But if you have to, it's good to be in the service in case something does happen, you know. In case a war comes around again.